And we're recording. Here we go. All right, guys. How's everyone going? Simon here, Simon Cigar and Spirits. We are up to episode 6. Shit, who would have thought we would have gotten this far? So tonight, I'm extremely humbled, again, as I always am, to have a very good buddy of mine up in the beautiful Gold Coast in Queensland. And his name is Andrew McCulloch. Andrew, how you going?
Good, mate. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thanks for joining us tonight, man.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm fresh out of the gym, so you'll have to excuse the attire tonight.
No, not at all, man. I snuck up a little bit earlier today, so I got there before trying to give myself a bit of time to prepare. So, no, you're looking good, man. Been training hard.
I've sort of been getting up. Some of it's not intentional. I've been waking up at sort of 3:34 every morning. I'm straight in the sauna, into the ice bath, down to the beach. I do a 7K walk every morning on the beach.
Shit, yeah, that's so good.
Just a good way to start the day, and then I sort of train, a weight train in the afternoon.
Yeah, fantastic.
So it's been good.
That's good, man. They always need to do it. I'm a massive advocate for mental health, and especially men's mental health. We've got so much going on these days, man, from, family, work, life, all sorts of things. And if we're not taking care of ourselves, it can impact our own lives, our own mental health, and then obviously it rolls onto our families and our children and so on and so forth. So
absolutely,
it's really good, man, to hear that you're looking after yourself, bro, and making sure you're the best you.
Yeah, I think that looking good's great, and it's a byproduct, but I go for my head. It's I know I start to get grumpy and just don't feel great when I'm not going in the gym. So 100%.
Yeah, it's like I said, and like you say, it's a byproduct, and I think in different stages of our life, I guess it probably would have been our main focus. Yeah. But now, as we're sort of a little bit old, it's trying to just stay a little bit more rejuvenated, try and hang on to our youth the best that we possibly can.
I'm going to Bali in a month for my birthday, and I've got this goal that I want to have a 6-pack, but mate, it's not looking good. I've got a whiskey in hand. It's just been eating sausages and steak, and I don't know if I'll make it, but I'm going to give it a crack.
It's the Aussie summer, bro. Honestly, what do we do? We're always out, especially when it's like this. I mean, how hot is it up there?
Mate, it's still hot. Like it hasn't been crazy. It's hovered around that 30, but it doesn't get cool at night. It's still. I'm sitting outside on my balcony. I'm on the water here, and mate, it's sweat pouring down my back right now. It's warm.
Yeah. I'm lucky. I'm inside and I've got the aircon cranking, and outside would be the same, be about 27, 28 degrees. So I'm fortunate to be inside. It's not too hot. So, mate, I'm going to quickly push on. I've sent you a couple of cigars. I hope you got them.
Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
Hey, you're very welcome, man. I'm going to just do a quick blurb on both of them, and then we can you can, as the guest, you can decide which one you'd like to have. I've got the same cigar sitting here in front of me, and then we can go from there. So, the first one is a beautiful tubo. It's really beautiful. It's a sexy looking stick, and the way that it's been packaged is absolutely gorgeous. This is by Drew Estate. This is the Undercrown Maduro. The blend consists of many of the same tobaccos found in Drew Estate's popular Liga Provider number 9 and the T52. The Liga number 9 and the T52 are freaking super expensive sticks, man. They're super premium. So this is obviously, they're talking about this being a really good stick.
Yep.
But with the twist, the story goes that the Taurus orders, I don't know how to pronounce that word properly, so forgive me, in Drew Estate. So the cigar rollers, in short, in the factory was smoking too many of these sticks and depleting the inventory of the Connecticut wrapper. So the rollers use the same tobacco found in the Liga Provider binder filler, only from different vintages and primings in the plant. They cover the new blend in a dark Mexican San Andreas wrapper, which we'll see once we open this up.
Mm-hmm.
This stick was born in 2015. This has been rated a 91 out of 100 by Cigars Aficionado, so it's up there. It's definitely, I think the highest rating I've seen probably be a 96. So just to put it into context. So this is definitely a good stick.
It's a good cigar.
Yeah, absolutely. So we can expect oak flavors, leather, hints of vanilla, roasted coffee, and that's pretty much what we'd find on this. This is the Toro size, and it is medium to full bodied. So that's our first option, which is the Drew Estate Maduro, Undercrown Maduro, sorry. And then we've got the beautiful, our second option here, which is also a fantastic stick. It is the Chateau Fuente King B. Handmade torpedo. It's obviously made from the Dominican Republic. These cigars host a spicy Ecuadorian wrapper, aged Dominican binder. What else can we say here? So you can expect notes of honey, cinnamon. This is going to be a medium bodied / medium to full. This one here was rated an 87 out of 100. So a little bit less than what that one is. So yeah, that's our two options, man. I can let you go ahead and pick which one we're smoking tonight.
I reckon this one, man. I'm curious as to what's inside, you know.
It's beautiful, man. Honestly, look, it's super appealing. The stick looks absolutely gorgeous. So
how's the packaging? It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's a strip of cedar in there too. Inside the I'll show you a little trick. So let's take that foot wrapper off, that little one down the bottom. Give it a light and a cut, or a cut and a light, I should say. Don't light it before you cut it.
No, seems get too far.
Sounds like my life at the moment.
Still running the cutters that I got a few of those years ago.
There you go, man. Bloody hell. Time flies, man. It's been a while. And I mean, it's been a while since I've seen you. So I honestly am super humbled that you took the time away from your family to come on and talk a bit of business and a bit of social and stuff like that. So I really appreciate your time, man. It's always good to get people that are leaders in the industry on here, and people that to learn and help others learn, I guess, especially in today's society where a lot of people are feeling the pinch of rising costs and interest rates being high and all those sorts of things. So learning and being educated by people, as I said, leaders in the industry, is always a really, really good thing. So, bro, let's get this lit. And then I've got a bunch of questions here in front of me. And then I'm not a bunch, it's probably about 6 or 7. Once we get through those questions, we'll just talk a bit of shit and shoot the wind, as they say, shoot the breeze. And so let's get it lit, bro.
Sounds good.
I can hear the sound of the burning cedar. It sounds freaking amazing.
It does.
What are you drinking tonight, Andrew?
I'm on a Talisker 10, I think.
Lovely.
Actually, I know. I've got the bottle here, so because I knew I couldn't get up, so I thought I might as well bring the whole bottle out.
There you go.
So yeah, this is a Talisker 10. Yeah.
Nice.
It's not a crazy whiskey. I was in Tasmania over Christmas and went to Lark.
Oh, nice.
Mate, that's the best, that thing.
Oh shit, yeah, man. This was I think it was episode 5 or 4. I had a couple of fellas here, like Jim and Scotty, just absolute legends in the whiskey industry, and we just spoke in depth about some of the Australian stuff and how they're really, really smashing it. Super fortunate, man, to have Australian distillers here that are just producing such high quality spirits, for us to be able to enjoy. So yeah, definitely Lark being one of them.
Yeah, Lark's definitely my favourite.
What other Australian whiskies have you sampled when you were down there?
I did a lot of wine, to be honest. When I was there, Lark was the only whiskey place I went to. that I remember that years ago I bought some off you. It was Wild Rivers or something like that. I don't know if you remember that. It was
Oh,
super
yeah, Wild River.
limited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, no,
super.
it would have been Fanny's Bay, maybe. They did real small batch stuff.
Yeah, it
That
was
was
only a little
pretty.
bottle. It wasn't a huge bottle, but it
Yeah,
was.
they're pretty high end Australian whiskey.
The biggest problem I've got with whiskey is once it's opened, I might as well throw the lid away, you know? So it's bad.
It's definitely not bad. My wife's always saying to me, "Simon, what do you keep buying bottles for?" I'm like, because one bottle is just, I'll end up going through it, especially when the boys are here having a cigar, kicking back, man, a bottle will go real quick, So
I got a mate over tonight, and we'll knock this over and some probably, no problem. I'd imagine.
So you're not training tomorrow morning?
No, I'll get up and train, man. Yeah,
you're a legend.
I'll still get up and train.
That's what it's all about, bro. Pushing through our mental barriers and our own self-inflicted barriers, I guess, that we put up.
I think that's corporate life taught me that, like the white family are always so big on, events and stuff. You can go and party if you want, but make sure you show up,
Mm.
And so we had to show up, and I just always kept that up, Might run out of steam at some point.
We'll worry about that when that happens.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, I want to ask you, it's a cigar-related question. So what was one of the most memorable cigars you've had, and when?
Mate, it's another one that I've got from you. It was, you'll have to help me here. It was like a box press, I think. Had the blue ribbon on it, won cigar of the year, or is it number 1 or 2, like 3 or 4 years ago?
EP Carrero, I think it's called.
Yep.
Pledge.
Yeah. So I love all their cigars. I bought a bunch of those off you now. I bought the ones, the blue ribbon. I bought the one with the red ribbon, and then those smaller ones, that wooden box as well. Like, they were great, just with everyday cigar. I smoked them literally every day through COVID. But that blue one is definitely the most memorable, because when I sat down and smoked it, no one had warned me that I should eat first, and fuck, it knocked me around.
They should, instead of having a health warning on it, which they always do, it's a surgeon warning on the sides of them.
That thing needs to come with its own warning, though. Like, that's a whole different level. That thing.
Definitely saying on there that you should eat before you smoke.
Yeah.
I think we've all had one of those experiences where we've like hooked into something and made ourselves a little bit sick. I sometimes get flushed, man, like where I'll go to bed at night and I just feel like I'm on fire. My wife will touch me. She's like, "Man, what the hell's wrong with you? You feel like you're on fire," just from the nicotine. So
it's probably the whiskey's not helping you.
Yeah. All right. What's your go-to? Is it beer, wine, or spirits, or is it season depending?
Red wine. I'm a massive red wine drinker, but it's either red wine or it's whiskey.
Yeah, nice. What's your go-to wine? Is there one particular bottle that you would recommend, or that you? And are you a bang for buck guy, or do you like to chase the sort of the more premium stuff or the more expensive stuff? What's your?
It depends. Like, I've actually tried to cut back a lot on what I drink, because I was an everyday drinker for many years. Either through entertaining or just probably the stress of the job that I had. As that CEO for Ray White, I drank a lot, and so when you're drinking at that amount, this sounds terrible, but you can't afford to be drinking premium wine every day.
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, absolutely.
But there's a winery called Torbreck,
okay,
and it's in the Barossa, and their wines range from like $25 a bottle through to $2,000 a bottle. Let's say.
Yeah.
The beauty of Torbreck is the difference between the bottom and the top. There's not a lot to it, man. So that $25 bottle of wine tastes nearly as good as that $2,000 bottle of wine.
Yeah, nice.
So
man.
Torbreck, if you if you come
I'll
across
definitely
that,
have to look them up. Yeah, definitely.
It's good.
I'll have to definitely look them up, man. So what can you tell us a little bit about Andrew McCulloch? I can see you're rocking the Ray White hat there, and you're up in the Gold Coast. So we've said those few things. But who is Andrew McCulloch, and what do you get up to, bro? What's your gig?
So I don't know how far back you want me to go, man.
Well, you just tell us. Give us a screenshot, man.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I've been in the real estate game since I was sort of 17 years old. So, have remained one of the youngest, most experienced people within this industry for a long, long time now, purely because I got started so early.
Yep.
So it's been one of those obsessions that I had when I was younger. And had done everything from being a salesperson through to I had an agency in New Zealand. I'd worked in corporate New Zealand. I moved to Australia sort of 16 years ago in Sydney, back into corporate, and then I had my eye on that CEO role. I knew I wanted it and sort of worked towards that, just sort of climb that corporate ladder. So that there's kind of like two versions, right? There's the work me and then there's the weekend me.
Yeah.
And the work me goes to, it's funny, they talk about like Superman. You look at Superman putting on his suit, and he changes that changes into a whole different person. And I felt like that was me for many years. I'd put a suit on, go to work, and then I'd come home and put some shorts and a hat on and go and ride my Harleys, or so it's, I'm probably I'd have to be the most tattooed person within my industry as well. And up until recently could hide all of them.
Yeah.
But last year I tattooed my hands, and but it's they're even that it's pretty subtle. I can still hide it if I need to.
Yeah.
So yeah, two very, very different sides.
Yeah, that's cool, man. And so where are you at now? You mentioned earlier that you were CEO. Are you still rocking that position? Because I know you were in Sydney.
Yeah, so I sat as CEO and director of Railway New South Wales ACT for about 8 years.
Yeah.
That was a $25 billion business, so it was a big business. It's
Wow.
Railway's biggest business. So they all the states are separated, and each have their own CEO, corporate team. They're different businesses, right? Well, obviously all sort of under that Railway family banner, but different leadership, different styles, a whole lot. So I ran their largest business for many years, and about 2 years ago, I just started to get worn down. Like I was getting grumpy. The stress was getting to me, and I was butting heads with a few of my colleagues, and I remember I was actually at the airport heading to the Gold Coast for a weekend away, and I was having an argument with someone in finance or legal. I can't remember now. And my wife at the time, so I got off the phone. She goes, "Sit down, you're gonna have a heart attack." She's like, "Your blood pressure's through the roof. Your face is all red." And so I sat down, and she goes, "Why don't you just quit?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she goes, "Well, you've done everything and more of what you came to do. So just throw in the towel. And I said, "And do what?" And she goes, "Let's move to the Gold Coast." And I thought, well, fuck it. So I did.
Yeah, nice,
um,
man. That's
and it was good. The lifestyle changed, and um, I took kind of I didn't take 2 years off, but I had 2 years of going really easy. Did some consulting, worked in a couple of different industries as a consultant, and it was a year ago, almost to the day, man. Actually, yeah, almost to the day that I sat down with Dan White and I said, "Mate, I feel like I've been benched a little bit. I was back in a corporate role by then." And he goes, "Yeah, we just don't want you going anywhere else." And I said, "Well, that's cool, and I appreciate that, and I'm humbled that you basically pay me to do nothing." But I'm about to turn 40 at that point. And I said, "I've got 10 years of going really hard, where I've got to build some wealth and make sure I can buy houses for my kids and set
yeah,
them up,
absolutely.
because our kids, mate, are going to struggle to buy property." And so we started talking about buying a business, and I found a network of 5 offices in Northern Gold Coast, and negotiated that for months. It was probably the toughest negotiation I've ever been in, purely because, well, not purely, but partly because I was emotional about it. It was my deal.
Yeah,
I've negotiated hundreds of those deals. You know,
yeah.
um,
It's
but
different when it's like that, I guess.
when we're talking lots of money as well, like we're
Yeah,
talking
shit,
millions of
yeah.
dollars, so. Um, I had to put everything on the line for this purchase, and I ended up with 5 offices, which I
Yeah,
settled on in November 1 last year. So
congratulations, bro. That's
yeah, thank
fantastic,
you.
man. Bro, that honestly, man, I absolutely admire you and commend you, and it's just inspirational, bro, to see that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like from a dude that started off at 17, aspired through, pushed through into the CEO role. and then from there, hit that benchmark, and then wasn't enough. You wanted to excel even further and go and open up 5 branches or take on 5 branches. So super, good on you, bro.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like a master stroke or if I've just gone insane. I haven't figured out
a little
yet,
bit insane, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, must
be. My wife says.
But it's really good. And when I rang you earlier, or when you rang me, whatever, I was sitting by the pool, and sun's shining, and then I got up and I went did an auction, and we sold that thing under the hammer. And mate, it's just, I love the flexibility, I love the lifestyle here. I love what I do, I love the business. And it's one of those things. It's one of the, arguably, it's one of the only things I've ever been really good at. So,
how did the auction go today? I saw the YouTube. Sorry, the Instagram post that you did. So you had 10 registered bidders earlier on in the week, and how did it end up going?
So it was an interesting auction, man, because I got there, people are flowing in, and the agent's there, and I said, mate, are we good, And he goes, yeah, I've got all the business here. I said, is it going to sell? He goes, yeah, this, everything looks good. I went, cool. Mate, auction kicks off, silence, as usual. I'm like,
standard.
Why do people do that? Like, we're here to bid. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why people go to auctions and don't bid.
Open the auction at like $2, bro, just to get someone to freak and say, yeah, okay, you break those nerves, and people will roll on from there.
Yeah. If anyone is out there that's listening to this and you go to an auction, please put your hand up. That's what you're there for. So anyway, it gets started, and we kicked off at $1 million. Anyway, bit of backwards and forwards. It ran out of steam at 1.22. The reserve was significantly higher than that. We just spoke to the vendors. They're like, nah, we're miles off. We're not going to take it. It's not going to sell today. And I said, no. I said, what? I'll get more money. It's all cool. It's all good, So I took the buyer, put them into another room, talked to them. I managed to get them up 80 grand, and we dropped the hammer on it. So, mate, everyone was ecstatic. The vendors are moving back to New Zealand. They were stoked. And it's days like today, you go, that's why I do it, like seeing their faces and how happy they are. And the new owner there, she was this little Japanese woman, and she was ecstatic, and I got to go and sit with her, and I said to her, well done, this is a beautiful home. It was a beautiful home. So it was just one of those real win-win moments, and I think that's one of the good things about selling residential, and why I've always sold residential and not commercial, is it's the emotion that's in it,
Yeah, I was going to say, absolutely. Much more emotionally driven.
Yeah, they're homes, not houses, and and you just very little things beat the seeing that look on people's faces when they both sell and when they buy,
Yeah,
and everyone's happy with it.
I'm getting like butterflies in my stomach as you're saying, because I buy and sell quite often, renovate and flip. You've been at one of the auctions that I did for one of the houses, and man, that feeling is just. It just, I mean, as you guys, it must be a massive adrenaline rush every time, because it's like make or break, or there's a lot of pressure as well. So,
mate, the only thing that beats it for me was watching my kids being born. That's how much I love this shit,
That's sick, bro. Listen, I want to, you mentioned something while we were talking, then it was one of the questions that I have here. Bro, what can you, I'll leave that one for now. Okay. So you said about your kids being able to purchase a home, and this is always it's always a sensitive topic. It's always a hot topic. People are always talking about this because, man, the way the industry is and the market's going, man, when's it ever going to run out of steam? People go, oh, it's got to slow down. It's got to slow down. Yeah, it might slow down in my personal opinion, but it's never going down.
No,
that's my personal belief. Where it might stabilize. You won't see that consistent steam. Obviously we have things like what's happening now with the economy. People aren't spending. That will slow shit down, but it doesn't ever stay like that for very long. So obviously, I just want to ask, bro, what are the tips for first home buyers looking to break the market, looking to get in? What can you sort of shed a bit of light on for them? As I mentioned earlier, one of the leaders in the industry. What advice could you give those people?
So first thing is, pull as much money together as you can. Get rid of as much debt as you can. Don't use things like Afterpay and shit like that. Don't get credit cards. Don't get silly debt is the first step. Get as much money as you can together. And then from there, if you've got the ability to use, family and friends equity in property, and they're willing to do that and help you out, that's a great way to get in. Borrow as much as you possibly can. So borrow every cent the bank will give you and spend
Absolutely.
it. And buy whatever you can afford. Now, for some people, that's the house in the area that they want to be in. For others, it's an investment property in Albury.
Absolutely.
But buy property, because while you cannot outsave the market, right? So the best thing you can do is get in and start to ride the wave with it. The staying out of it is the hardest thing you can possibly do, and the longer you're out of it, the harder it's going to be to get in.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes I'll flick through old email addresses and you see some of like the emails come through and you think like back, what was it? When did I go to Europe? It was like 2010 or 2008. I went to Europe. You're looking at the house prices back then. You're going, 450 grand, shit, man. It's too expensive. I'll never be able to buy a house at 450 grand. You're thinking, bro, if I bought a house at 450 grand, that's the sort of shit I'm using as a deposit these days.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. You pay that state duty.
It's a world of difference. So, as you said, bro, and I attest to it, man. Like, get into it as quick as you can, and your advice and your opinion too, Andrew. But like, even if you can't afford a house, like, look at getting a unit. Like, whatever you can do to get into it.
Yeah. Too many people sit around waiting. I'm going to save because I want to buy that, or I don't want to buy in that area. Just buy something, and just if you've got to continue to save afterwards or whatever, but buy it, pay your mortgage down as quick as you can, and then take the equity and go again and go again and go again. Just buy as many houses as you can.
And if you're willing, as a builder, from a builder's perspective, if you're willing to do some work on it yourself, some basic, home renovations. Sorry, I'm having a bit of ash on me. If you can do some home renovations, paint, do whatever you can just to tidy the place up yourself, you can grow an equity just off the back of that. You know what I mean? Just from giving it a basic facelift, changing some fixtures and fittings inside the house, making it look a little bit nicer. So I wanted to it's the same sort of question. You mentioned obviously trying to get people to assist, and this is probably more of a financial question as opposed to it is to a real estate question. But say, for instance, they aren't able to get that backing. They can't get that family backing. What's your advice? Would you say, like, look into state, just try and find a cheaper house, try and find a cheaper unit, try and do whatever you can, really, just, as we said, get into the market?
Buy anything. So, you're better off to sell a kidney than not buy. You know what I mean?
The market's savage, man.
Yeah.
The market's growing so quick.
I just, I look back at a few houses that I've sold or things I haven't bought, or, and I regret every property sale that I've done. I should have. I wish I'd been able to hold all of my houses.
Yeah.
The background behind me would look quite different if I had.
Yeah.
Not that it's that bad,
nice, I was about to say, it's a pretty nice background. They just can't see it.
No, it is good. It is good, but I'll be in Mykonos or something, I reckon. But just try and do everything you possibly can to get into the market and stay in the market. Don't get out of it, and just buy as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
The best bit of advice I got when I was a kid is borrow as much money as you can.
Yep.
Because it works in percentages, right? So the more expensive you buy, if the market goes up 10%, you know what I mean? Like, so
you're getting growth, man.
Correct, yeah.
And that's what you want. And obviously equity, like I was saying, whatever you can do to tidy up your house and make it look a little bit better. Plant a few plants. Just everyone can paint, It doesn't matter how good or bad you are. Just make it look a little bit better to try and obviously get that growth in your property and make it, look a little bit different to when you first purchased it, and you'll gain equity just by that.
Maybe they give you around, mate, fix up the house for them.
Yeah. If it's interstate, I'd love to come up.
Yeah,
sorry, mate, we're gonna go interstate. Just freaking kill me. Got 3 kids.
I think I need some work done, bro. So come on over.
Her responsibility. She goes, you got 2 brothers in Queensland. Get them to go. She's on to me. So, bro, I wanted to ask, I've got another question here. So what else, what other information can you tell us based off your experience in the market, analysis, current real estate market trends? Are we going to experience any kind of boom, especially in Queensland, because you've got the Olympics happening in, I think it's 2032?
Mm-hmm.
Would you suggest people start looking up there? And is there certain areas that you would suggest people to look at based off that, or is it too late if they missed it?
No, I don't think they've missed it, man. I think when you look at the Australian market, it did a little bit of a dip. I think some months ago, and then it's just started to skyrocket again. So we're in this massive boom, and it makes no sense, man, because most people's mortgages went from 2% to 6%, mine included.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when that happened, I was like, "Fuck, it's gonna be a bloodbath." Everyone was like, "Oh, it's over." There's gonna be blood on the streets, blah blah blah. Nothing. Just keep going.
People adapt to it, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, when you look at how banks lend as well, they look at the rates changing significantly, way more than they have actually changed when they assess you. When they assess you on what you can borrow. So we could all afford it. We didn't like it. It was uncomfortable. We couldn't go out every night for dinner anymore, and we had to, start to watch what we spend a little bit more. And I think we're all on that boat, But ultimately, we've had to, we just had to adapt and change, like you said, So
that's one of the things, man. Like people just get used to it. I guess it normalizes itself, and they just say, "Okay, well, shit, it is what it is," and you can't live like that forever. So you just got to get comfortable and keep going.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, we get used to a certain style of living, right? And then our mortgage doubles, and we go, all right, well, you just change, man. You make it work. I sold through the GFC, and man, I was in South Auckland at the time, and that was really depressing. I was doing mainly mortgagee sales, and we're going into houses, man, where they're ripping up floorboards to keep themselves warm, and burning it. Or there was candles running because they couldn't pay the power bill, and mate, that was hard to watch. I've not seen that again, and even these massive hikes on interest rates didn't cause that.
Yeah, right. All right. What's I don't know if you can tell me what's been one of the most I'll just say what's been one of the biggest sales that you've done on a resi property? Has it been in Sydney? Has it been in Queensland? Has it been overseas?
Something that I've owned?
No, not you personally. No, I wouldn't ask that. I definitely wouldn't ask that. Like just as a business.
Because I've got one of those stories.
Well, if you want to elaborate, you can. But I don't like to ask personal questions.
Oh man, I'll tell you.
Like
this is part of my story, man. It's made me who I am today, I think. So through the GFC, I owned an agency, or I was a partner in an agency, and I was 24 years old, and we were earning so much money that I couldn't spend it quick enough. We used to get helicopters to lunch and stuff. It was crazy, man. Like we were just raking it in, right? Yeah, so I'm 24.
I'm coming to work with you, bro.
Yeah, well, listen to the end of the story. So we I was married at the time to my first wife, Christine, beautiful soul, and had I had an agency, and we had this house in a suburb called Ponsonby, which is an inner city suburb. It's an elite suburb. Had a couple of European cars in the driveway, all that sort of thing. Anyway, being 24 years old and not that bright, and having no savings, I just used to spend everything, right? GFC felt like it hit overnight. And it just wiped me out completely. And my marriage broke down through that. Business went under. And then because everything was in real estate, right? So my money was in my property, my income was in real estate, the tap just turned off. And I went upside down within months,
Shit.
And I remember standing out front of the house. I had to let the house go. The bank didn't take it. I sold it, but they weren't far off. They were circling. And I remember standing out front of the house with my dad. And I bought this house for $700,000. I'd renovated it, spent $500,000 on it. And at the time, prior to the GFC, it was probably worth 2 point something, right?
Yep.
I sold that house for $650.
Oh,
So, and I'd already, because my wife and I had split at the time, I'd already bought the house off her. So I bought the thing twice, and I paid her out on the big valuation. So I would have lost close to $1 million, I think, that year at 24 years old. And I remember sitting up front and then I said to my dad, what a waste, like, how could I
no,
fuck this up
fuck.
so bad? So that was that day that I learned that I wasn't bulletproof.
Yeah, right, man. And
Because
I guess that's something we all learn as we grow older. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
a younger me, especially, man. Like you just think, yeah, it doesn't matter. And then as you get older and you have a couple of kids, and you start changing and looking at it from a completely different perspective altogether.
Well, I was just reckless, and it was that recklessness that made me a lot of money very quickly.
Yep.
But it was also what lost me all that money very quickly.
Yeah.
So
Blackjack.
yeah, basically. So when I made it back, I made it very quickly the first time around. They say your first
Yeah.
million's the hardest. Not for me. The first million was very easy.
Yeah.
Once I lost it, and making it back it took me years and years and years, because my ego was bruised. I approached things with a lot of fear.
Caution.
Yeah, and probably too cautious, and today I've obviously that's worn off, because I go and do stupid things like buy 5 offices all at once, so clearly, that lesson started to wear off a little bit. But for many years I was very scared about what I did and how I did it and all that sort of thing, and it made things, it just was hard to make money again.
Yeah.
Hence my move to Sydney.
And then move out of Sydney. Has it been it's been good again, obviously up in Queensland. What's the market like in comparison? Is there any comparison between Sydney and Queensland, or is it just a different market altogether?
I couldn't tell you much about the Sydney market today, because I don't know a lot about it as it stands, but when I was there, it was crazy.
Yeah.
We were doubling our money nearly on every property we bought and renovated. And it was very. I think it's come off the boil a little bit. Look, and I don't know what it is, man. I seem to be very lucky with property, right? So, I bought in Darling. My first house in Australia, was actually an apartment. I did okay on that. The second one was a house in Darlinghurst, and I held the record for a 2-bedroom townhouse for like 3 years when I sold that. So we did really well on that. Then we went to Bowral, and at that time I thought our capital gain days are over, right? Because we were moving to this regional town where prices were just stagnant; they didn't move.
Yep.
So we moved there, and then COVID hit, and all the regional property, so that thing doubled.
Just
So I'm like, this is
screaming.
mad. Yeah, and then once we saw that, then we went back to Annandale. We went to Annandale,
Yeah.
and again we just rode this wave of this crazy market where I remember when I sold that, one of the local papers wrote this scathing story about me, saying, some corporate high flyer makes windfall of $800,000 with a coat of paint or something. I was like, fuck, we just come into the best market this country's ever seen. Like, give me a break.
And I'm sure if they had the opportunity to make that sort of money, fuck, they'd make it within a heartbeat, and they wouldn't be saying shit. So it's always.
Everyone was making that sort of cash. It was just,
And why are they
so
writing
moving
a story,
target.
bro? They're writing a story to make money.
Of
So,
course.
like
Yeah.
they're just shit talkers, man. People like that are
Mhm.
always going to try and bring you down. They don't know the post that you put up today about the shark. They don't see the battles that you've been through and the losses that you've had. And unfortunately, man, that happens in society nowadays, man. So many people are so observant from the outside, never ever take the second to step into your world to see what you've actually been through and your consistent battles, whether it be financially, physically, emotionally, and they just make an assumption based off your appearance. And obviously, we both look very similar. We're both covered in tattoos. We're both, you're bigger than I am, but we're, 6 foot plus. And people will sit there and go, "Oh, look at this guy. He's a bikie, or he's a whatever," and
I
and
get
they
that
don't know what you've been through. Yeah. And then you tell them what you do for work.
Yeah. It's and that's why I don't mind sharing that story, because I think that we live in this world now of social media where that's, if people forget, that's the highlight reel.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you, but I never put any of my shit days on Instagram. So, you know, people often say to me, "Oh, I follow you on Instagram, and you look like you're killing it, blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't see me scream into my steering wheel when I come out of the office some days, or
Yeah.
you know, like
I never forget, bro. When I bought my first property, I had anyway, I'm not going to say it was just a dick. He asked me, "Oh, how'd you get that house?" And I'm like, "Bro, I don't know. I fucking stole it. How do you think I got the house? Like, blood, sweat, and tears.
Yeah, luck. It was all luck, wasn't
it? Yeah. I walked around the corner, I was sitting there, so I just walked straight in and I started squatting. You know, like people don't understand the shit that you go through to get to where you are. And, you know, that's why I say to you, bro, like, I commend you massively, man. You're inspirational. And for other people too, bro, like, it's good to hear those sorts of stories that, you know, from nothing to where you are now. And it's all through hard work, dedication to the game, dedication to, you know, to yourself as well. Because you can, if you're not dedicated to yourself, like you said, you know, you have a couple of drinks tonight, but because you're dedicated to yourself, you'll still get up tomorrow and go to the gym, go for your walk, do what you need to do because you're investing in yourself. And that's what a lot of people don't do.
I think, you know, I've got this big thing about self-limiting belief and manifesting stuff, right?
Oh, shit, yeah.
So when I was younger, I lived with a couple of guys that rode dirt bikes, and you know, one of them was riding with Crusty Demons, I think, at the time. And they couldn't, they were trying to, this was back in the day when they were trying to backflip bikes, right? No one had backflipped a bike at that point. And I remember one day, one of them backflipped the bike, right? The next day, all of them backflipped bikes.
Yeah,
and
right.
Nothing had changed. The bike hadn't changed. The people hadn't changed. The ramp hadn't changed. Nothing changed. But all those other people saw that could be done. Therefore, the self-limiting belief dropped.
It moved.
And yeah, exactly. And so they all started doing it. I see it within Ray White. You know, we've got a leaderboard on an app that we've got, and like every year there's these top three, and every year they just fucking battle it out. And like these agents in a period of like less than probably 5 or 6 years have gone from writing 3 million to 5 million to 8 million to 10 million. You know what I mean? Like as individuals.
Shit, yeah.
And they do it because self-limiting belief gets dropped or moved because they see it being done, and they're like, "Oh fuck, you can do that!" So they go and do it, you know. And it's the same with.
You need to have that, man. You need to have that optimistic outlook. You can't, if you start limiting yourself, you know, you're not going to progress at all. You know, you need to push on. And it doesn't matter where you came from or what your background is or, you know, where you grew up. All that is its limitations. And if you keep saying, "Oh, well, I'm hard done by, man, you're never, ever going to progress forward." And it's funny because my wife and I were talking about this today. A guy I know was, you know, sent to prison, did a couple of years stint in prison, came out and just continued to feel sorry for himself, did nothing better for himself, and, you know, never got anywhere in life. And then
victim mentality.
You look at someone like Spanian, who spent, you know, a fucking massive amount of time in prison. And man, what a legend. God bless him, bro. Yep. I see stuff like that. And like I say, man, for me, that's inspirational. That helps me just want to keep pushing hard. You know, you see him like kicking goals, man. And whether it's just these smoke and mirrors, but, you know, you only wish people like that all the best. He's having a red hot crack at it. And good luck to him, man.
Yeah, it's amazing if you once you can drop that, it's amazing what you're actually capable of. Like, bro, I truly believe that if I wanted to bad enough, I could fly. You know what I mean?
Just don't do it while we're on this podcast together, please, bro. I don't want to be held liable for some shit when you go to your second story and try and jump into the pool or something. It make good YouTube, but I just probably get myself in a lot of shit.
But it's just true. I think that whatever, if you want something bad enough, you'll get it, and that's that manifesting piece. But if you believe you can do it, you'll do it. You know.
Absolutely, man. Getting rid of that limitation, bro. Like, and I always say, for me, like, we've been put in a position now in a country like Australia where we're so blessed, man, so fortunate. People have paved the way to give us the luxury of being able to push as hard as we possibly can. We don't really need to struggle. Don't get me wrong, there are struggles in life. But the real struggles were when, you know, for me, like my dad came here from overseas, had a couple of bucks in his pocket, didn't speak the language, left all his family overseas and really busted his ass to give me the best opportunity at life. Now, if I don't take that opportunity and run with it as hard as I possibly can, everything that he did was in vain.
Yep.
You know, he might as well just stay where he was and lived a comfortable life and not giving a shit. But, you know, and that's how I really see it, man, where we really have to push as hard as we can. And I'm a massive patriot. You know, I'm super, you know, appreciative of the Anzacs, what they've done for us and the life that we live now because of the sacrifices that they obviously did to give us the best opportunities at life, man.
Absolutely.
So, Andrew, I saw you driving a sexy. Let me finish what I'm about to say before you start smoking at me. A sexy beast of a car. That wasn't Uber, was it? You weren't Ubering that?
No, that was it. So I've got this fetish with Porsches, right? So shit. I had beginning of last year I owned 3 of them. So I had a GDS Macan, a GDS Cayenne, and a 1957 356A. So the 356A was my dream car. It's one I've had a model of it sitting on my desk. So I talk about manifesting stuff and stuff.
Yeah.
So I looked at this thing every day. I finally bought one last year. It was around this time actually. I think it was. It was about a year ago. And I owned it for 3 days and it burst into flames.
Oh shit.
so that went. And then and so I'm down to one Porsche now, but I've got this goal. I've got to buy the GT3 RS.
Fuck yeah,
and
man.
So I got
they're so futuristic.
Yeah, man, it's the pinnacle of vehicles. Once you've driven that, it's like, I don't know, have you flown business class before?
Yeah.
So you're fucked now, right? You can't fly economy anymore. So that is me now with cars. So I got lent one for the day. It's a long story. I won't go into that how that came about. But anyway, I've got this car, and had heaps of fun in it yesterday. It was the best. And then we were going to dinner last night, and I don't know what happened. The accelerator slipped or something, and it went a bit quick. And the next thing, there's lights behind me.
Because you got big feet. Your feet got stuck
I don't know
in
what
the pedal.
happened. There's a small car, little footwell. Something happened. And next thing, this thing takes off, and then there's lights flashing behind me, and I woke up today without a license.
Oh, shit. We shouldn't laugh, but fuck. I mean,
well,
you have to laugh. What do you do? You're in a bro. Like I think we were speaking about it earlier. Like, imagine losing your license for, I don't know, something like freaking drink driving, or but to go out in style, like, fuck it, bro. I went out, lost my license in a GT3 RS. Man, that's like, look, you got to laugh about that.
If you're gonna lose your license, do it in the RS.
Yeah. That's sick, bro. And how are your bikes going, bro? How the Harleys going?
Good, man. I think at one point in Barrel, I was up to 6 Harleys. I've cut right back now. I'm down to, I've got 3 in the garage. One of them's not mine. So I've got the 2020 Fat Boy limited edition. So that's a numbered bike.
Lovely.
That's one of the hottest bikes I've ever seen in my life. I'll go to that. That's going to get buried with me. I sold the Bagger, which there's an interesting story behind that. But I sold that Bagger was so hot. I bought that bike brand new, built that. I loved that bike.
That was the turbo one, correct?
Turbo Bagger was on the front of Live to Ride magazine. I built that to get into the magazine. That was the sole purpose of me building that bike, and I got it on the magazine, and then I sold it. That was one of the sexiest bikes I've ever seen, but it was horrible to ride. So that's gone, and then I've got a 1988 Springer, so it's an old classic.
Nice.
That I've got. So yeah, so that's a beautiful bike as well.
I think if I was to get a Harley again, bro, I had a not, I'm gonna say a bad accident. I did have an accident. I was on a Harley some years ago, and I hit a corner. I came in a bit too hot on the corner, and hit some gravel, and it threw me off. I had my ankle bone sticking out of my foot and ripped all the skin off my leg. Picked the bike up, rode it back home, then asked my brother to take me to hospital with my bone sticking out of my leg.
Oh no!
So it's always the adrenaline, kicked right in. I wasn't going to leave the bike there. I had to get home somehow or another. So that's an interesting story in and of itself. That's for another day.
Yeah,
but I swore if I ever get another Harley, I'll just get just a big cruiser, just something I can jump on and just be comfortable on it. Because there's nothing worse. I used to have a custom. It was a rigid, and the thing was just a pain in the ass to ride. Literally a pain in the ass. It had no suspension on it. you get off, you'd be walking like you've been riding a horse for 10 days. And
ridges, man.
All the pain.
You're a braver man than me. You won't catch me on a rigid.
No, I'm too old now, man. Bloody hell, if I rode a rigid now, I wouldn't be able to walk for days.
Well, it's funny. My dad came over a couple of weeks ago, stayed for 10 days, and he's always ridden as well. He's 74 now. And him and I rode up to Noosa, and I was amazed at how well he went. You know, like 74 years old, man, and he kept up. You know, he didn't complain. It was a good night out away, actually. So we rode up there for the night, stayed up there, and then rode back again. Got caught in the weather on the way home, like torrential rain. You know, 3 meter visibility, no wet gear. You know, wearing jeans and a t-shirt, you know, a backpack.
Like that's probably like the worst scenario ever, bro. I think that's why I got caught in that once, and I was like, never again.
That's what I love about bikes, though, man. You know, like you just throw a backpack on, you go, and like whatever happens, happens. You know.
Yeah.
It's all part of the I don't know, the romance of it, I think.
And the spontaneous. It just and honestly, there's nothing like people who've never ridden a motorbike I guess they probably wouldn't really understand it. But that sense of freedom when you're out on the bike, and even just like, especially a Harley, like I love that sound. That purr when you're out, and even when you don't have to be thrashing it, you could just be cruising out in the back roads, just really. And it's just, again, always talk about Zen moments, or like having that time to just reflect. Fuck, man, I remember riding and just be like a million miles away, thinking about so much different shit while I'm on the bike. It's just, you know, so therapeutic.
Yeah, it's good for the headspace. Good cure for a hangover. You know, it's the bike or the boat when you got a hangover. It's the wind in your face. You know, it sorts you out real quick.
I see you go out on the boat often, man. How's that going for
you? I love the boat. When I moved up here, I had plans of buying this big, you know, I wanted like a 42 foot or something. And you get up here and you get into the canals and you realise that you don't actually need anything that big. So I've got a 25 foot bow rider that I've got parked up out in the water just here. So it's perfect, you know, walking off my lawn, straight onto the boat. You're out for the day, back up, you know, back into your house. It's really convenient, you know, it's good.
And that's, I think that's the biggest thing, man, is that convenience of being able to step onto it. My wife and I were talking about looking one, especially through summer. And I guess, again, we talk about that freedom, being out, being away from everyone, and just having that time to be able to relax and just chill out. Because we live such hectic lifestyles, it's always good to have that time away to be able to just kick back and relax.
100%. I recharge on the bike and on the boat and stuff.
Yeah, that's sick, bro.
Yeah, it's good.
And bro, if anyone wants to reach out to you, Andrew, they want to look into purchasing property up your way, or if they want some advice, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you, bro?
Mate, most people get me on my on my Instagram.
Yep.
Otherwise, you know, I'm happy for people to call me direct. Happy to share my mobile number. So
right, where's your office? Where can they look? Say, for instance, your office. They wanted to hit you up at your office.
Yeah, so I've got 5 offices in the Northern Gold Coast. The main office, my head office, is at Runaway Bay.
Okay.
So we service the entire Gold Coast from there. You know. Excuse me. So happy for people to come and approach me. I don't do much of the hands-on stuff these days. You know, I'm pretty busy just running that business, and it's a big business.
Yeah.
It's sort of currently sitting as like a $10 million business and growing.
At least you can direct them where to go.
100%. You know, I've got lots of different specialists that can look after different styles of property, you know, waterfront specialists, different areas, all that sort of thing. I'm running a staff of 55 currently.
Yeah.
So, whatever it is that someone needs, I've got someone for it for sure.
And bro, one more thing before we sort of start to wrap this up. You mentioned earlier, I think on one of your reels, that you're starting to look at a community give back. And how would that work?
So, because I'm not born and bred Gold Coast, right? I wanted to find a way that I could build the relationships pretty quickly with the communities, and the best way to do that I've seen, and this is not my idea, man. I do a lot of R&D, rip off and duplicate. Yeah. And
smart
so
man.
I wouldn't. Yeah, well, mate, there's no point reinventing the wheel, right? So,
absolutely.
There's an amazing business in the North Shore of Auckland, a Harcourt's business. I think they're about a network of about 18 offices, amazingly, the owner of that business opened his doors and his books to me. And when I talk about his books, they showed us everything in the workings of the business, which was incredibly generous of them, given that they're not even the same brand as me.
Yeah, right.
But one of their big things was community engagement, and that's done through sponsorships. So
Yeah, nice.
I've got someone on staff that goes out and finds these opportunities to schools, sports clubs, charities, anything in the community, and we negotiate with them on something that's going to give us good exposure and also give them good funding.
Yeah.
I match that with a salesperson who then owns that relationship, and I go 50-50 with the salesperson. I match them dollar for dollar for whatever investment they've made and donation they've made to that charity
Fantastic,
or
bro.
club or whatever. Yeah, and
That's
it's a really
phenomenal, man.
positive way to market yourself.
Yep.
I feel that the community's given. I bought this business was established. I bought this business, and it had been established for 18 years, and that the previous owner had never done anything like this. And I just think, all you've done is take from the community. Whereas I've got to, obviously I need to take from the community too in order to survive, but I want to be able to give back, and so it's just a mutually beneficial way to deal with the community is to get more involved in it and help them fund things.
And you better understand, I guess, the demographic of people that you're dealing with, and like you
Mhm.
said earlier, I guess it's exposure as well. For you, one last question, bro. This is just sort of a left of field question. A young entrepreneur, what could you sort of advise them, or what sort of advice could you give a young entrepreneur who's thinking, "Fuck, man, I don't know what to do or how to do it." What's some advice that you could throw at them? And that would be the last question I ask you.
Go and learn as much as you possibly can. Network as much as you can. Surround yourself with good people. You're the average of the top 5 people you associate with. So get good people around you. Go and follow people that have made money. There's a guy, Simon, who owned Culture Kings. He's up here on the Gold Coast. Follow his Instagram. He literally gives ideas away to people on business ideas and things on his socials that work. Go and get audiobooks by Gary Vee. Listen to them. Create a personal brand for yourself. Get involved in social media. Network. You can get rich by meeting someone.
Yeah, absolutely. And networking's massive. I'm always saying it to my wife, and she literally looks at me. She's like, "How the hell do you know that person?" Or even when I say I'm going to have a sit down chat with Andrew, and Andrew was New South Wales CEO of Ray White, and people go to me, "How the fuck do you know Andrew?" And it's just networking, man. It's networking.
And you get to meet the best people around, man.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and it's the same with I've got a small circle of friends, but I know, like, between us, we will know everyone. So you want a Sparky, you want a builder, you want a, like, whatever it is, it's there. So we've got it covered, and you end up with this just amazing network through meeting people, man.
Yeah, that's phenomenal, bro. Man, bro, honestly, I'm super humbled, man, for your time. Again, like I said, I know you've got your kids with you, your family with you, bro, and I hate to take you away, but it was a good opportunity. We haven't spoken in a while, so I do appreciate, again, you actually taking the time out to sit down with me, have a bit of a chat, educate some other people, man, and hopefully someone can learn something from what we've spoken about tonight, be inspired as much as I am of you, man, because like I said, I'm massively inspired by you. You really helped me. And one thing I do take away, and it's something I've been thinking about more and more this year, is actually manifesting on things, and really pushing hard to try and change up the dynamic.
Get a dream board. Everyone should have a dream board. My office is the walls are covered in photos of either things that I have own, my kids, or I want to own. And I look at that stuff every day, man. So it reminds me of what I'm grateful for, what I work for, and what I want.
Yeah, and that's so true, bro. Man, Andrew, thank you so much, bro, for your time. Honestly, I'm absolutely honored again to have you on, bro. I hope you enjoy those sticks. A small gesture of my appreciation.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. You're so good to me. You always.
Bro. No, you're always welcome, bro. And always let me know, man. If you ever need anything, you're always welcome. Shoot me up. And if I'm ever up your way, bro, or you're down here, I think you said you might be down next week. I've got my little cigar lounge here. I'd love to host you, bro. I've got
appreciate that, man.
Cigars here, I think, that I can share.
There's always a bed here for you, mate. So
You're a legend, bro. I appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much for your time, man.
All right, brother.
And yeah, in the future, bro, I'd love to have you on again if you're ever free
100%.
and you want to jump back on, bro. I'd love to have you on.
Cool, man. Appreciate the time.
All right, brother. Take care, man. Look after yourself.
Cheers. Thank you.
See you, bro.
Bye.
Guys, that's me. I'm Simon Cigar and Spirits. I'm going to tune out here. Hope you enjoyed that little chat with Andrew McCulloch. He's from Ray White up on the Gold Coast. If you want to learn anything about what we've spoken about tonight, or if you want any information on what we're smoking or what we've been drinking, hit me up. You can hit Andrew up. I'll put his Instagram handle on the post, on the YouTube clip. And guys, make sure you like, subscribe, share this, comment. It helps me. I'm only just kicking off, so any help and support you guys can give me goes a long way. So again, Andrew, thank you very much, brother, for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Take care, brother.
Thanks, man.
See you, mate. Bye.